Our Francis introduced me to Ashley House.
I heard through my son Mark came home from work and he was in a distressed state to the extent where he tried to take an overdose. He phoned Ashley House himself and suggested we come down.
I think I heard it from the doctors, which I know is unusual really, but I was trying to think back because it's been such a long time now, 5 years plus, but I think that I knew that there was a problem and I made as an ultimatum, you must come to the doctors. And I just seem to remember finding myself here with Les, and then I think yourself said, come up, there's a carers group.
How did I come about that? Well, my wife had been in and out of different hospitals through her drinking and falling, and she'd been in Whiston for about 10 days, and I'd asked them was there anything they could do for her before she was discharged because of her drinking. And it was Whiston Hospital that gave me a number to ring to get some help. And when I rang, it was a number in St Helens, and St Helens told me that there was a place in Widnes called Ashley House. I didn't even know Ashley House existed.
Well, we're going there through a lot of trouble with my son. He'd been drinking for months and months, and as we're going past every morning, I'd take my wife to work, and we seen the Ashley House sign, bold as brass really, and we saw it up in our faces, and we thought we'd better come in. So we bobbed in and never looked back since.
I think it was the first time I'd heard about it is when actually Sheila had actually been with Kimmy and looked into it, and then we was told that not only there was like somewhere for the people that were using substances or alcohol, and that there was something for the family as well, or close people to that person.
I will say the first time I walked through the door, I just thought, oh my God, what have you brought me to? I don't feel like that now. I really, really don't. It was a shocking experience. There was people in the foyer who were not very nice people. Took us into a side room and just made me feel like we were human. I had a good chat with Mark, suggested routes to get Mark on a normal level.
I knew about it. I found that I was very, very much alone and that there was nothing there to help us. But once we knew about it and we decided, yeah, we're going to go. It's getting over that door is the initial thing. But once we got over that front door and we come, I thought, is this really what I want to do? Is it going to help me? And it's just been absolutely brilliant.
And I know Mark's made lots of mistakes. He's been through a lot, through drugs, first cannabis and then cocaine and then bubble, and also ketamine was the last experience, to the extent where he was taken to hospital, covered in cuts and bruises, no idea how it happened.
The hardest thing is, at first you don't realise, but then you do, that you can't actually control it. And that's the hardest thing, because personally, I'd like to be able to fix things. That's my nature. And when you realise that you can't actually fix this addiction, it's a hard thing to do, because it's out of your control, totally out of your control.
Well, it's just not the Anna now. She's changed so much through her drinking. It's been bad for my 3 sons, because, you know, it was a long time and I wouldn't tell them that she had a problem. I used to hide it from them. But then when I started coming down here to Ashley House, I thought it was time that I told them, and I found that really, really hard, to have to tell my family that she had a problem with drink.
He's not the boy that we brought up. He just seems lifeless. His eyes are dead. He's just seeing him abuse himself like that, and he doesn't seem to have any feelings or care for his family anymore, and he's just not our son anymore. you know, and we just want to get him back.
Deceit, not knowing what they're going to do next. You think when you've lived with someone for 30 odd years, you know them inside out. It's just knocks you down dead when you think they can lie, swear, which I've never ever heard him say before.
I mean, when he is alright, he's the best lad in the world. But then he gets his gyro and that's it. It starts all over again and you get 4 bad days and maybe 2 good days with him. You know, it's just have to hope that one day he'll wake up and see the light and realise what he's doing to himself and to his family.
I found the hardest part was I came into this late on with Anne's daughter, because Anne had been doing it on her own, and the way she treated Anne was unbelievably bad. And I was what Anne called at the time fresh meat. I was hugging and kissing and full of sympathy, and that turned against me. It didn't last long at all. Fresh meat suddenly became on board with you, and then she turned on me, as that is the pattern with all the family throughout. And now I can do it, help at a distance, I think, the way I put it now. I'm there if she wants me on the end of the phone, and I can maybe help her with her paperwork, money, that type of thing. But I don't tell her what to do.
Oh, the worst thing was not being able to help him or giving him money because I was enabling him to live that life. The hardest thing was not being able to say no. It took me 2.5 years to say no, and the day I said no was awful because he left home and went to live in a shelter, which wasn't nice. He lived in a room no bigger than a cell. He lived there for 6 months, and that was me hardest 6 months, but me most rewarding 6 months, because he changed his life into a better person. It made him harder, it made him stronger, and it made him realise he's not on his own.
Just the way she reacts when she's been drinking, completely different person, not the person that we've known. I think it's horrendous, and you just think there's no light at the end of the tunnel. They're never ever going to change, but you have the good days and you have the bad days. I think by coming here it helps you to deal with the bad days and then enjoy the good days.
It's just the total not knowing what they're going to do next. You're thinking ahead of them, but they're so clever they can think further ahead than you.
They will do anything, and this is one of the most important things I've learned in this group. They will do anything, absolutely anything, to get their next drink or drug or whatever it is, and don't take it personally. It's not really about you as the partner, it's about them and their addiction. And okay, they may have hurt you, and sometimes it's physically, sometimes it's verbally, and sometimes it's real emotionally, because after all it is your partner, and don't you love me, and if he loved me he wouldn't do this to me. Well, I'm sorry, they will, they will do anything.
If they're going to drink and drive, let them. Phone the police. I reported him. I reported my husband. I gave him the number plate, and I felt a lot better by doing it, because you don't want him killing someone. You've got a conscience, they mightn't, while they're drinking.
But it made me a better person to say, no, I'm not giving you any money. So that was my worst situation ever. And it was in the beginning of the December that he went, so he was away Christmas into the new year. And he'd be coming and not smelling nice, not looking smart, crying. take me home, let me come home, and it just no. And for me that was the hardest bit. So yeah, not nice. But I've done it. And like John said, you will do it and you'll just wake up one day and done it. I remember coming to groups saying I've thrown him out and not feeling horrible, feeling proud of myself. Because for me that's a big step.
Well, at first I wouldn't accept that she was an alcoholic or was dependent on drink. I used to say she had just had a problem with drink. I'd try and, paint a different picture than it really was. And then I learned that you've got to accept it and care for them. And I found that very, very hard. Coming to terms that, yeah, she was a drinker, and no matter what I said or what I did, she was still drinking.
We was buying the drink with her money, taking it to her, letting her drink it, and then she was getting extra on the side. I thought we were doing wonderful. We weren't doing anything good at all. And then when we look back now, I think if somebody says, well, what are you taking a bottle of wine to an alcoholic for? Let them get it themselves. And it's all learning. And until we came here, I wouldn't have known I wouldn't have known that I was doing wrong. I wasn't known that I got the wrong approach. It's listening to other people's success stories or failure stories and getting information from yourselves that has boosted us along to come to the point where now at this minute, because everything changes by the minute, we've got some peace there and she's coping better than she did before.
Well, Ashley House has been like a family to me. I don't know what I'd have done if I hadn't found this place. I still come, don't I, after 4 years. I still feel as if it's my family, because your own family just doesn't want to know.
We get a lot of support from here. Like I said, it's just looking forward to coming every week, because there's people that are in worse situations than you. You think there's only you that it's happening to, and it's not. It's happening to more people than you realise.
You see people, and they tell you worse situations than ours. If you can get worse, it's all the same in everyone's head. It's going through the same situations to everybody.
And Ashley House were my brick. I can't say thank you enough. I can't say well done enough to people. I can't praise you, because no matter how low I felt, I knew there was either yourself, Donna on the phone, or John on the telephone, and nothing was too much trouble. Whether Mark had smashed up my house or took money out of my purse or whatever. And for me, Ashley House has been my lifeline.
I think we found that what we're going through, every other family's going through exactly the same. So when you hear them say something, you think, oh gosh, yeah, that happened to us. And you find out little bits that can help you to deal with things more, rather than getting yourself all frustrated and that, because you can't make your loved one better. Is sometimes it's listening to what other families have done and how they've actually reacted. So it's been really good.
Come with me to Ashley House. That's what I would say. I really, truthfully would say, come with me to Ashley House. And also, I find going about doing the various jobs that I do, I meet people, a lot of people who have partners, sons, daughters, you name it. They have somebody in addiction, and I'm very open about my circumstances. I say, oh yes, I'm with a partner who's a recovering alcoholic, and they sort of take a double take. You mean you're really admitting this? But having said that, once I've done that, they have somebody too. They know somebody in their family who has an addiction. And it's amazing, absolutely amazing how many alcoholics are out there.
ourselves really. It's just together. We know we're strong anyway. We wouldn't be here now, I don't think, if we wasn't. But what keeps Maggie more than me going is coming to this meeting. She looks forward to the meeting every Tuesday because she comes back with a happy frame of mind.
Your friends get fed up of you talking about it. Your family do. They just don't want to know. You come here and you feel at home.
I tell people not to bottle it up, because at first you keep it all to yourself and you feel ashamed and you think it's only happening to you. I mean, when I first came down here, I was thinking, there was a bus passing us and I thought, what if somebody's on that bus that knows me? And now I think, well, no, I'm trying to do something, I'm trying to get him back. And please God, one day we will.
So Ashley House, the carers group, it's just been a lifesaver.
Don't think Ashley House is a bad place. Don't let first impressions put you off. People are sick. They need help. They come here for help. So when you walk through that door and you see someone, I want my prescription, don't think, holy shit, I've got to get out of here. Give it a chance. Come back. It takes about 4 times, and then when you come back you'll meet friends, and then you'll give positive feedback, because that's what Ashley House needs. It needs positive feedback. It needs to grow, to be put on the map, to be stamped in witness as hope, help and happiness. And that's what Ashley House is all about.